The number of COVID cases in India are seeing an upward trend. To talk on vaccine, policy, and many more things, we have the COVID Working Group Chairman, Dr. N.K. Arora. Sir, thank you very much for taking out time. Uh, we are witnessing a surge like never before. The replication rate is high, and we are seeing the numbers equal to what we were seeing in 6 months back. Is it safe to say that we are somewhere heading into third wave, and third wave has started in India?
So today Omicron, the new variant of concern, is identified in more than 20 Indian states. So most of the states now have Omicron. The number of cases have exponentially increased during last 1 week or so. And we are in third wave. There is no doubt about it. And having said that, I would say there is no need to panic because we already were prepared in terms of vaccination. Our adult vaccination program is going on very well. Yesterday, adolescent vaccination program also has taken off and on a very good note. And thirdly, during last 6 months, massive efforts have been made and investments made to strengthen our health infrastructure so that we are ready to face any kind of eventuality.
Dr. Arora, when we talk about a number of cases, an important aspect to talk about is also the number of hospitalization. What is the rate of hospitalization that we are seeing this time? How much of bed occupancy are we looking at pan-India?
So there appears to some kind of a decoupling. Like last time, as the number of cases were increasing, there was a significant rise of hospitalization during the second wave, Delta wave, during March to June. But this time, as the number of cases are rising during last 2 to 3 weeks, the number of hospitalization for COVID is not proportionate, or there is a decoupling. And it appears the overall disease due to Omicron is either asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic illness is there, and need for hospitalization is much less. As I am given to understand that over 90 to 95% beds in different parts of the country are still vacant, the beds earmarked for COVID. The second thing is that almost all the patients who are admitted with COVID currently have comorbidities. Usually they are elderly people, more than 60 years, and have comorbidities. So it appears that at least whatever information we have from Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore and major cities where the upsurge of cases is maximum, the hospitalization rate is less, but all these individuals are having some comorbidities.
So you talked about the metropolitans. My next question is on that only. How do you see the spread of Omicron? In fact, yesterday the Delhi Health Minister said that over 80% of the cases which are being genomically sequenced are from Omicron variant. What is the status in different metros that we are looking at?
So if I look at it nationally, out of all the COVID viruses sequenced in week prior to the last week, it was 12%. Last week it increased to 28%, Omicron. But in metro cities where almost 100% samples have been sequenced, the proportion is much higher. For example, Delhi is 84%. And similarly in other metros like Mumbai, Bangalore also, it is more than 50%. So 50 to 75% or so. So this is a clear message where the initial Omicron patients started coming due to travel history. Now many people without any contact or known contact with patients, subjects with travel history or otherwise are started getting Omicron.
One more important aspect is of hospitalization. In second wave, we saw people struggle for beds. What is the plan this time? Are you going to change the guidelines? Are we going to see a new kind of guideline for hospital administration? Is something going to take place on that? Because currently we are seeing almost every Omicron patient being taken into a COVID facility, or he's occupying that bed, even though he's asymptomatic or mild in nature.
So no, obviously that was initial response at the beginning of December. All the Omicron patients were being kept in the hospital. We wanted to observe them, what happens, both symptomatic, mildly symptomatic or asymptomatic patients also. But clearly, overall, as we have understood, the guidelines are being released, whom to admit, what kind of home quarantine processes are to be followed, and even the guidelines for oxygen beds, for ICU care, for ventilator care are being released for this purpose, so that a very judicious and efficient use of all our resources are used, and unnecessarily mild patients or who do not require hospitalization are kept in the hospital.
Dr. Arora, today is 4th of Jan, and in fact, if we look at the next week, we are going to see the adult vaccination in which precaution dose will be given. What is the plan right now? Are we looking at the similar vaccine being given as precaution dose, or are we looking at the mixing, which has been mostly talked about in the coming course?
So we have taken a lot of discussion has taken place and we have reviewed the global data as well as local evidence. And I think by tomorrow there would be a formal announcement, the kind of dose which will be given for precautionary dose, both in health providers, frontline workers, and on the other hand, elderly people more than 60 years with comorbidities.
The kind of replication which we are seeing, Dr. Arora, in Omicron variant is exponential rise. How do you see it? Where are we looking at? What is the estimation of the number of cases that we are looking at? And are we really prepared to see that amount of cases? Because if you see in America, we are seeing over 1 million cases. How do you look at the trajectory of rising cases?
So the testing has been ramped up, and 3 days ago a new guideline has been set up that rapid antigen testing to be done round the clock, so that immediate results are available, so that we know the number of cases and also to how to contain the spread, because the results are immediately available with RAT test. So that is one of the additionalities. Overall, the national capacity is to do 30 to 40 lakh tests every day. We have the kits, both RT-PCR as well as rapid antigen test kits available. And it appears, the way we have looked at the Western countries, the European and the North American countries, the trajectory of cases there. Another good example is South Africa. It appears that the cases are going to rise quite rapidly, exponentially in coming days and weeks. But to predict the number at this time, it is not possible. It will not be possible to do that, because it depends on several factors. And but the system is very well prepared and geared. There is absolutely, as repeatedly I am saying, there is no need to panic. The system is geared to handle the caseload, and mechanism of home quarantine as well as hospital care is better now. Oxygen, I don't think there will be any problem with the oxygen availability. And another issue is that some new drugs have also been approved recently for emergency use authorization, and all these to put together, I think we'll be able to manage it very well.
One last question on INSACOG, because you're also the co-chair of INSACOG. The kind of variant spread that we are seeing currently, how crucial are you seeing the Omicron, given the threat that it is posing on healthcare system? The prevailing Delta variant is also there. The prevailing Omicron is also there. How significant are these both variants right now?
So for last 3 months or 4 months, we were seeing that gradually Delta variant was becoming less. and Delta Plus AY series was gradually increasing. So by November it was almost 50-50%. Delta was 50% and Delta Plus 50%. Now in some of the metro cities what we are seeing is that, as you rightly mentioned, in Delhi, of all the COVID patients, 84% were Omicron, only 12% remaining was Delta. So it looks like, and this is the global experience, that Omicron kind of overtakes because of the growth advantage on Delta and other variants, whatever are circulating in the community at this time.
With video journalist Ajaz Hussain, Ayushman for Mirror Now.